Without hesitation, the airport personnel removed the elderly man's passport when he displayed it. However, upon deeper examination, they discovered something that astounded them. But before we begin, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new story. As Swami Sivananda saw how many people were eagerly hurrying by him on their way to their goal, he began to feel extremely old. He couldn't dispute that he was past his prime and that he was clueless, even if he appeared youthful and sprite for an older guy. His ticket made it very obvious that he had to check in order to board the aircraft, but he was unable to locate the correct screen or line in the Kolkata airport due to its sheer volume. This famous spiritual teacher and yoga practitioner from Bahala, India, was getting on in years, yet had only taken a few flights during his lifetime. He was aware that every airline offered a special service for children who were flying without their parents, but he didn't believe that an elderly guy would receive the same level of consideration. As a result, he turned to the first friendly lone traveler he saw for assistance. Regretfully, it appeared that nobody was prepared to pause for a moment to assist an elderly guy in finding his gate. Swami made many attempts to approach individuals, but he was consistently rejected. He quickly found himself in the center of a large, bright hall with hundreds of people around him, making him feel incredibly alone. Airport employees appeared too busy to even listen to him. However, he felt a tap on his shoulder at that moment. A young woman with a warm grin was standing directly in front of Swami as he turned around. He was so appreciative that he nearly started crying when she timidly asked if she might go with him someplace, or at least show him the way. Swami clarified that he required assistance locating the check-in location because he was disoriented. He reminded her of her own grandpa, who had died of old age a few years prior, she informed him. After checking the large screen over their heads and asking to see his ticket, the woman told him to proceed to a certain counter. He thanked the gracious woman and hurried over to the little line of people standing in front of it. Patiently, Swami observed, wide-eyed, as airport workers skillfully handled baggage and issued boarding cards with an almost mechanical appearance of efficiency as he pushed forward in the check-in line. He finally arrived at the front desk, where two colleagues, a young woman and her senior colleague, were waiting for him. He showed them his carefully packed bags, which were embroidered with traditional Indian designs. As they carefully weighed and marked each bag, his heart raced in his chest. Swami had to grin to himself in spite of everything. Even though he was a very elderly guy, with a lot of life experience, he was nevertheless anxious and concerned about being in an airport. It was nearly humorous. Swami gave the passport, which listed the years of life lived and the journeys taken, when it was time to verify it. Even though Swami didn't travel very often, his passport was worn out and ragged from years of usage. It was composed of a type of suede material that hadn't been used in as long as any of the airport employees could recall. The passport was genuinely aging and growing delicate, much like its owner, rather than disintegrating due to frequent travel and abuse. The staff members were in wonder as their eyes met those pages and they skimmed the contents. They asked Swami whether or not his paper was accurate. They were worried that anything was amiss or that they were misinterpreting the passport because they had never seen anything like it before. However, the more closely they examined, the more certain they felt that they had first interpreted the material accurately. The airport staff all began shaking their heads as the implications of what they were reading began to truly set in, and a sense of incredulity and indignation spread over the gathered crowd. While frowning at Swami, the two companions grabbed a phone and dialed security. The old guy waited patiently for someone to question him After realizing right away what the problem was, when a policeman came up to him and demanded to see his passport, he just gave it to him with a kind grin, because he had already been questioned several times by both authorities and citizens. The two airline employees watched in boredom while the officer checked the paper using a specialized scanner. However, their faces drastically altered when the official verified that the passport was authentic. A look of astonishment crossed their faces as they realized a mystery that transcended the traditional limits of time was hidden behind Swami Sivananda's wise eyes and aged, weathered visage. He was not only old, he was 123 years old, which was a lot older than any person had ever supposedly lived. Nevertheless, amazingly, he remained young and active far into his old. Through their hushed tones, whispers echoed like echoes in a vast room. The employees at the airport exchanged mute awe and motioned for him to join them into a secret area. They gave him a bottle of water and a seat there, and then they asked him to tell them about his life. Swami began by narrating his birth story in a rural, isolated Indian town before moving on to discuss his achievements throughout his life. He added that he had begun doing yoga at an early age, and that he had discovered inner calm and outside power as a result of his silent practice. Throughout his life, he had seen a lot and encountered many difficulties. But by caring for his mind and spirit, he had been able to maintain his worldly existence. The airport employees were in awe of him and expressed gratitude for his insight. As they eagerly discussed the remarkable man they had just met, they individually led him to the gate and said goodbye, knowing that his flight to London was about to depart. Within the busy airport terminal, word spread quickly about their meeting with a living legend, and Swami Sivananda's very existence became mysterious. In his wake, strangers now spoke reverently. "Are you 123 years old? How could that have happened?" Social media quickly spread the word, and news agencies around the world began to cover the remarkable story of the ageless Behala yogi. Swami's modest voyage to London became a worldwide sensation. Every flight's passengers craned their necks to hear the wise sage's one word or to see his calm face. The other passengers, who appeared to be pilgrims seeking blessings from an enlightened sage, nodded respectfully and inquired about him as he boarded his aircraft. One of the passengers approached Swami politely and softly and started a chat. Initially, they discussed flying and traveling in London, but then they discussed Swami's age. The inquisitive traveler questioned how he managed to look so young at such an advanced age. Swami grinned. Answering the question didn't bother him because it revealed his amusing little secret. For those who were truly interested and intrigued, what harm could there be in sharing his knowledge? "Years of yoga have kept my mind and body young," he informed the other traveler. Though he appeared to be in his 70s or 80s, Swami did not appear to be a youthful man. He maintained his physique flexible and supple with regular activities, and his diet made sure that everything inside of him operated as it should. He had never been admitted to the hospital for anything but minor unintentional accidents, and he had never woken up with pain, groaning, or moans when he got out of bed. Swami was genuinely grateful. When Swami Sivananda landed at London's busy Heathrow Airport, among crowds of rushed pedestrians negotiating long hallways lined with duty-free temptations at every corner, he departed his plane calmly. This poise not only dispelled the anxiety and uneasiness he had experienced before to his trip, but it also immediately enthralled onlookers. The remarkable story of the Indian yogi had come before him, and now, surrounded by wonder and inspiration, he would set off on a new chapter in his life. Swami was only 123 years old, so he still had a lot of years left to live at this rate. It's your turn now. Tell us what you thought of this amazing tale. Is there anyone you know who has lived this long? Given Swami's advanced age, how would you have responded? Please feel free to share your ideas and comments in the comment box below, as we always appreciate hearing from you.